Recently, during the Prophecy Update broadcast, the servant of God said that every nation that participated in the Iranian nuclear deal was guilty of forsaking Israel.
Today, after 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not.
So after 3 days of listening to world leaders praise the nuclear deal with Iran, I begin my speech today by saying, ladies and gentlemen, check your enthusiasm at the door.
This deal demonstrates that American diplomacy can bring about real and meaningful change. Change that makes our country and the world safer and more secure.
This deal doesn't make peace more likely. By fueling Iran's aggressions with billions of dollars in sanctions relief, it makes war more likely.
I am confident that this deal will meet the national security interests of the United States and our allies. So I will veto any legislation that prevents the successful implementation of this deal.
السلام على أبناء أمتنا والسلام على المجاهدين الشجعان.
Iran boosted its supply of devastating weapons to Syria. Iran sent more soldiers of its Revolutionary Guard into Syria. Iran sent thousands of Afghani and Pakistani Shiite fighters to Syria. Iran did all this to prop up Assad's brutal regime. Iran threatened to topple Jordan. Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, smuggled into Lebanon SA-22 missiles to down our planes and Yahoun cruise missiles to sink our ships.
لا شك أن النصر في المستقبل حليف الشعب الفلسطيني وأن أسطورة الهيمنة الصهيونية على هذه المنطقة ستتلاشى تماما بإذن الله تعالى.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're setting up those terror cells in this hemisphere too. I repeat, Iran's been doing all of this, everything that I've just described, just in the last 6 months, when it was trying to convince the world to remove the sanctions. Now just imagine what Iran will do after those sanctions are lifted. Unleashed and unmuzzled, Iran will go on the prowl, devouring more and more prey. In the wake of the nuclear deal, Iran is spending billions of dollars on weapons and satellites. You think Iran is doing that to advance peace?
Now, that doesn't mean that this deal will resolve all of our differences with Iran. We share the concerns expressed by many of our friends in the Middle East, including Israel and the Gulf states, about Iran's support for terrorism and its use of proxies to destabilize the region.
You think hundreds of billions of dollars in sanctions relief and fat contracts will turn this rapacious tiger into a kitten?
I believe that we must continue to test whether or not this region, which has known so much suffering, so much bloodshed, can move in a different direction. Time and again, I have made clear to the Iranian people that we will always be open to engagement on the basis of mutual interests and mutual respect.
If you do, you should think again.
But it is possible to change.
You know, they say actions speak louder than words. But in Iran's case, the words speak as loud as the actions. Just listen to the deputy commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Quds Force. Here's what he said in February, quote, "The Islamic Revolution is not limited by geographic borders." He boasted that Afghanistan Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, and Yemen are among the countries being, quote, conquered by the Islamic Republic of Iran, end quote. Conquered. And for those of you who believe that the deal in Vienna will bring a change in Iran's policy, just listen to what Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, said 5 days after the nuclear deal was reached. Quote, our policies towards the arrogant government of the United States will not change. The United States, he vowed, will continue to be Iran's enemy.
A different path, one of tolerance and peaceful resolution of conflict, leads to more integration into the global economy, more engagement with the international community, and the ability of the Iranian people to prosper and thrive.
As the leader of a country defending itself every day against Iran's growing aggression, I wish I could take comfort in the claim that this deal blocks Iran's path to nuclear weapons. But I can't.
The servant of God said that every nation that participated in the Iranian nuclear deal was guilty of forsaking Israel, and those nations will experience Jacob's trouble.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
And we are coming back on the air right now with more on that horrifying night in Paris. Police have now confirmed at least 4 attacks in the city of Paris tonight. One at the Stade de France, where there was a major soccer game between France and Germany. The French President Francois Hollande in attendance. The AP reporting there were suicide bombers outside the stadium. You could hear it right there as the game was going on. 2 more attacks in central Paris in the 10th and the 11th arrondissements at restaurants in that area. Gunmen with Kalashnikovs reported and killing several on the scene, and the most horrifying attack of all at the Bataclan Concert Hall.
He also mentioned that America will experience Jacob's trouble and that more shootings and more attacks were going to increase. Here is the prophetic word that he gave.
And so right now people are talking and talking and talking, but we always need to seek the face of the Lord concerning the direction of a nation. When we prayed last time, we gave you a warning that if you voted for Obama, then you were going to experience 8 years of painful toil, and a lot of laws were going to be passed that were going to ruin the destiny of this nation. Now look at what's going on in Israel. Look at the abandonment of God's only assurance for this nation, okay? If the United States stops supporting Israel and protecting Israel, then God will allow the United States to experience Jacob's trouble. And so you're going to experience a lot of more shootings, a lot of more bombings, and a lot of more violence, similar to the situations that we're seeing in Israel. That's Jacob's trouble. And the United States is going to experience Jacob's trouble, just so God can give you a taste of what his people feel every day.
San Bernardino Police Department, they have confirmed an active shooter in the area of Orange Show Road. If you know this area, Orange Show Road, Waterman Avenue near Park Center. So that's from the police department and from fire units responding to reports of 20 victim shooting incident, 1300 block of South Waterman. Police department working to clear the scene.
So this originally started off at 11 o'clock this morning, late this morning, early afternoon. We received a call here at the Inland Regional Center, 1400 block of South Waterman, of a shooting. It was quickly apparent that we had what amounted to an active shooter situation. There was a massive law enforcement response that initially was officers from our department that responded, and then very quickly as word spread through the region, we had a massive mutual aid response from virtually every law enforcement agency in the immediate area, to include the Sheriff's Department, Police Department, Fontana Police Department, the California Highway Patrol, Probation Department, Parole. A number of agencies responded. What we have so far is information that up to 3 people had entered the building and had opened fire on people inside of the building. We do have some preliminary numbers of upwards of 14 people that are dead and upwards of 14 people that are injured. We think those are pretty reliable, but keep in mind those are potentially subject to change. They are preliminary numbers.